Let's do it.
All right, take it away.
So back to the virtual world. Here we are with Type 2 Phoenix and Heaven on Earth. And it looks like Heaven on Earth is going to be the purple Zerg in the bottom left-hand corner of Atlantis Spaceship, which is my number 2 map, followed or preceded by Sandstorm Mist.
Yes.
It's actually your number 1 map. So
yes, I love this map.
Great, so this is actually a map we agree on that has the potential to have a very interesting game. At the top, we have Type 2 Phoenix, and the reason why I think this map is so interesting, and we'll touch on it for just a brief moment, is the massive amounts of attack paths. There's one to the north, there's one in the middle, there's one way down south as well, and they're all separate lanes. They're not anywhere near to being close to each other, which really allows you to have like a revolving map, lots of skirmishes all over the areas, and this is one thing that we're really looking forward to seeing in StarCraft 2 maps nowadays, is more of a take back to Brood War type maps, where it's not ball versus ball, but you're forced to leave some supply here, some supply there, and an army over here.
Yeah, if you actually break up the map into individual lanes, there's actually 5 separate paths that you could conceivably go down.
That's insane.
Which is just ridiculous. The other nice part of this map is that you have 5 bases that are relatively close together. It's going to be pretty easy to secure those, turn into a macro game, but you don't completely split the map in half because you have an odd number of bases on the map, which means that this one down in the bottom right-hand corner is actually going to be the focus of a lot of engagements.
Oh, I've seen some great focus engagements at that location too.
Yeah, certainly. And so you have the potential to be a long macro game, but because of the distance between the 2 sides of the map, if you decide to commit your entire force to one particular direction, you actually end up being way out of position if any sort of a counterattack hits you cross map. So you're forced really to start throwing up or to start throwing very small groups of units at different targeted attacks, which leads into what you were talking about of the more Brood War style skirmish play.
And we're not making this up as we go along. We've actually seen a lot of maps here that kind of justify what we're saying. Or, excuse me, a lot of games here that justify what we're saying, because there's been so many big skirmishes on this map and small skirmishes that really show what you guys will see, hopefully, in tonight's broadcast, what we're talking about, maybe even in this game. But one thing that is kind of the cherry on top about this map is the middle location expansions. If you take a look real quick, you can see that the gases, very interesting placement. You guys can see that's a rich Vespene geyser tucked away in the steam vent, which is right above the low ground behind it, where one of the main pathways is. So if you want to go there, you essentially have 2 gases and a rich Vespene geyser. That's essentially 4 gases, but it is in a very vulnerable location.
All right, so let's take stock of the game where we're at now. Looks like Phoenix has decided to go ahead and do the same build. Nexus first, then Forge and Gateway coming up after that. Back on Heaven on Earth side, it's a minimal, speedless lane defense. He wants to be a little bit more sure that he can actually hold his third this time around, or protect himself against any sort of very early aggression. He's managing over a few drones over to the natural right now, but he decides to get some queens up before he ever decides to commit over to that third base, whereas he took that at the 4-minute mark last time.
I think he got the queens out before he got that third hatchery last game too, right?
The last game he actually put up the hatchery at exactly the 4-minute mark. This one's about 20 seconds delayed. So
okay, maybe
a small change, but he decided to go for the queens first. So
okay, yeah. I would have thought last time he got the queen first, because it's pretty weird to just get 3 hatcheries and not get at least a single queen out. That's really hurting your production. Yeah. But he is going to get the queens, and it looks like he's going to gear up for a long-term affair here, which I totally agree with. This is a huge map. Look at the distance between the 2 players' bases.
Natural to natural. We're going to go ahead.
And this is full scroll speed right now, guys. It's very far away, so... and
you can't walk directly through the middle. You actually have to go to one of those 5 attack paths that we were talking about.
Exactly. And that's going to make this a very, very interesting map. I mean, you could go right from natural to natural, as most maps work, but you can also go from the third to the third. It's on its own little separate path, so it's going to make this a very interesting battle.
Okay, and taking stock back of what Phoenix is doing, he's got a gap here where units can actually pass through, so it's not a full wall. And, Twilight Council before second gate. Let's see how much gas he saves up. It could very well turn into some sort
of DTs.
I was gonna say it could turn into some sort of a Blink Soccer build, but more than likely my DT radar is going off right now, and we are going to see a Dark Shrine.
DT DAR?
DT
Dar
Dart, yes.
is wailing right now. The alarm is going off.
It can't stop.
Mine is too, actually.
Yeah.
It's kind of irritating. I want to turn it down.
That's true. When we see the Dark trying to be okay.
It's okay. Oh, those two Zealots finding a nice little location to hide at, but they're going to have to come out and reveal themselves. The Zerglings should be able to get us around unless they decide to tuck themselves against the border of the map once again.
Nice job by Phoenix. Good unit control.
Oh, we didn't mention something. Phoenix is actually playing Protoss.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Before last game. Yeah. He's normally a Zerg player. Phoenix Warrior was a Zerg player. But, and there it is. The radar has gone off. It is done.
Yeah,
Dark Shrine is coming up, so we're going to have 4-gate DTs.
Yeah, this is, I don't want to say all in, but it is a little bit cheesy.
It's risky because if there's no detection up, or even a little bit of detection, but he can actually bypass that with a couple of Zealots and then allow the Dark Templar to slip by or something like that, he's all right. If we get into a situation where he doesn't get any damage done with the DTs, he can turn them into Archons. They're still an expensive investment. He's behind, but it's
he's not all the way behind.
Exactly. So it's a really weird situation. We're going to see how this plays out soon.
It's
Baneling Nest coming up actually for Heaven on Earth.
Interesting. It's almost akin to double Stargate opening off of two bases.
Yeah.
It's risky, but it can certainly pay off. And even if it doesn't, you still have a unit that works.
Because much like that double Stargate opening that you're talking about, Zergs have definite opportunities to shut that down really quickly.
Yeah.
But if they don't, then a double Stargate just auto wins. Like if you don't shut it down 100%, it just destroys everything. Now it's all or nothing.
Now the 4DTs have warped in the bottom right-hand corner of the map. I wonder if that Overlord saw the pylon that went to the top right. I don't think so.
No detection here.
Yeah, but his lair just finished, so he can make some Overseers right now, and he's going to have to make 3 Overseers, 1 for every hatchery, and he has to keep his Queens and his drones alive while the Overseers are in production, and he's not reacting right away. There's the first Overseer, there's a second Overseer on the production tab, and there's the third Overseer. So he's got 3 Overseers coming, and he needs to make sure that he keeps everything alive right now to deal with the DTs once the Overseers hatch.
Going after the Infestation Pit, very nice. It does get canceled, though. A bunch of workers have gone down. Unfortunately, the DTs are going to fall before they're able to finish off the hatchery. And it looks like the DTs are finally going to be clawed away. And really, Phoenix, cute little move right there.
I like it.
Yeah, the Archon, I believe, is going to die.
It is going to die, yeah.
Down, but nice little last-ditch effort to save those. But, Heaven on Earth took some damage. Only 4 workers killed, though. He didn't lose his hatchery. He was forced to cancel the Infestation Pit, which he actually hasn't restarted, curiously enough. But nothing too bad.
Yeah, nothing too bad at all. But the thing here is Phoenix is actually continuing this aggression. But Heaven on Earth sees it with his Overlord. So now Heaven on Earth can prepare himself accordingly. But here's the mistake I think he made last game. He didn't make a Roach Horn. Now, I don't know if this is because this is his build style. He just doesn't like Roaches against Protoss. But I'm a big proponent of just getting the Roach Horn in case of something like this. He doesn't have the right unit mixture to deal with Zealots and Archons. And this could be pretty devastating. The natural hatchery is probably going to go down here.
Yeah, those Queens are actually... just everything on the field right now is biological. Even the Spine Crawlers, which means that the Archons do increase damage against them. And there's only Banelings out right now, and Banelings are not cost-effective in any way, shape, or form against Archons. And I'm sorry, they just steamrolled right through that. So all that supply then, Phoenix was down because of committing over to DTs, is now come back up. He will in a second. He's got 1 Zealot wailing away. Okay, there he goes.
Yeah, I was wondering if he was going to kill it off, but this is terrible for Heaven on Earth. And if this series continues, let's hope that Heaven on Earth gets a Roach Horn next game, because a Roach Horn here would have just stopped the Zealot Archon with proper micro. And now, as it stands, he's going to lose his 3rd expansion very easily. It's already gone down. He's going to lose the macro hatchery as well. Zealots are fighting at the ramp to prevent the Zerglings from running down and surrounding the Archons. Love the play from Phoenix. And Phoenix is ripping through Heaven on Earth, and this may be because he's primarily a Zerg player, and he understands what to do to defeat Zerg. This is very, very creative and very interesting.
And bear in mind that, though you may not have heard Heaven on Earth before, he's a pretty darn good player. He made champ bracket at MLG Providence over the weekend, so he's no joke. But here we go. Looks like he is going to lose in a quick 2-0 fashion unless he could rally an amazing defense. And that's not it.
I don't think he has no Roaches, and he can't do this without Roaches. The Banelings are not detonating cost effectively. The Archons are still standing. At least, well, 2 Archons are still standing.
He did just get 1 good burst against the Zealots that were sitting down there, but there's just too much. These Archons that are rolling in. This is actually mass Archon now. This is a little bit absurd. Zealots.
Heaven on Earth's playstyle here is Ling and Fester against Protoss, which is kind of like the Destiny playstyle. It works, but if the Protoss knows what to do, such as Phoenix, Zealot, and Archon, your Ling Infestor style is just not going to stop it. And there's GG, man.
There it is, GG, and Phoenix is just watching his Archons die. He actually hasn't left the game